I can't wait to show you guys this next game. It's so absurd. You play as Mike McWrist. Yeah. Welcome back to GDWC's Top 10 Games per Country video series. This time, we're traveling all the way to the amazing Brazil, and here's some fun facts about Brazil. They're the 5th biggest country in the world with the 6th biggest population. It's an absolutely massive country, which can only mean that there are tons and tons of amazing games. Before we continue, I just want to say these videos go up every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming episodes. And comment down below where you're watching from. I'm picking the next episodes based on comments. And hey, let me give you a little taste of what we're going to see. Brazil is known worldwide for their dominating football players, or soccer, the vibrant carnival, and my favorite dish, feijoada. And with Brazil's massive population, they of course have such diverse people, which is also reflected in their games. Let's take a look now at some modern classics from Brazil. Unsighted, Horizon Chase Turbo, Knights Pen and Paper, Chroma Squad, Agar.io. This video was an absolute monster to make, easily the highest quality and quantity of games that I've seen so far. It was really difficult to cut it down just to 10 games. So you know what? If this video can get, I don't know,
50 likes,
then I'll make part 2 of Brazil. But okay, let's jump into number 10. I'm starting things off with a game title that tells you exactly what you'll be doing. Make the Burger from Creative Hand. You run a food truck and, well, you guessed it, you make hamburgers for your customers. You need to quickly serve them without messing up their order, and believe me, the pixel art is gorgeous, I agree, but you don't want to see those angry little faces. And as you keep progressing, you can buy new ingredients, more seating areas, the game keeps expanding, and you just have to hope that you can keep up with your growing business. An easy recommendation for fans of Overcooked. If you didn't know, Brazilians are no strangers to horror. Many of you probably already know the Chupacabra, which shows up in a bunch of folklore from the Americas and Brazil, of course. Well, let me introduce to you Devil Inside Us, Roots of Evil, where you play as a priest trying to help a family in their cursed home. The priest concept is nothing new for cinema, but I can't think of many games that use a similar concept. And what's best is that your old age is reflected in the way you move and interact with the world. You can't just sprint all over like Pit. Instead, you're armed with a cross to exorcise any evil that you come across. Devil Inside Us is out now on Steam, and there's even a demo if you're scared to buy it. Get it? Here are 2 genres that shouldn't mix, but totally do, just trust me. Turn-based combat and hack and slash. That's Red Ronin from Wired Dream Studio. You play as Red, seeking revenge against your former team when they straight up just left you to die. You enter strategically created levels where when you move until you're up against something in the environment, meaning that if there are any enemies in the way, you quickly dash and slash through them and bring them to their pixelated gory deaths. And it's never as simple as just moving. The game includes different pickups that allow you to stop time or create new paths to sneak up on your enemies. Basically, the game is if you combined Katana Zero with those ice block puzzles from Pokemon. It's an amazing combination of strategy and satisfying deaths. In 7th place, we have a game that isn't shy about its inspirations. There's even a little hint in the title. Next, we've got Galaxy Champions TV, a super intense top-down twin-stick shooter. So get this, the year is 2049, and there's only one TV show in existence. Galaxy Champions TV, of course. You travel from room to room, defeating increasingly huge waves of enemies until you become the champ. There's a whole bunch of upgrades to build up your character each run, and enemies drop weapons, but there's limited ammo, so you're always on the lookout for a new weapon to replace your existing one. And if you haven't guessed the inspiration yet, I was talking about Smash TV, a classic 90s arcade game that was on just about every early 90s console. And best of all, like Smash TV, you can play the entire game in 2-player co-op. Good luck! Next up, Karma City Police by Mecha Games. And, well, what's the best way to describe this game? I'm just gonna throw out a bunch of words and then I'll make sense of them. Police Dispatch, Pinball Combat, RPG. Got it? Okay, let me explain. You play as a new police dispatch where you answer phone calls and assess the needs and levels of threats from the callers. It could be as simple as a fender bender to someone being held up at gunpoint, and your resources are limited. You can't just send out 100 cops and cop cars to get a cat out of a tree, or your next call will have no one there to help them. But it's not always so serious. The combat system has you fighting in a pinball game, which, come on.
Oh, come on!
And early in the game, there's a TV news report that announces that farting and kissing has now been made illegal, and to call the police if you notice anyone breaking the law. So get ready for those sorts of calls. Karma City Police is out now on Steam, and if you're wondering, this has nothing to do with the Radiohead song. We're at the halfway point and I'm having an absolute blast with this list. I want to keep it going with the sort of comedic angle. In number 5, we have Alien Holiday, a game best described as Dragon Quest II meets It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, set in Brazil.
We are surrounded by lunatics! You're one of the lunatics!
Oh, and of course there are aliens. The game is a turn-based RPG where you play as a group of misfits trying to stop a citywide, never-ending party. You're just fed up with the endless drunks, costume weirdos, and you need to find out who's been keeping this party going for so long. The combat is very reminiscent of Earthbound, and the writing is honestly just hilarious. The full game is still in development, but they do have a demo available on their itch.io page that really you can't miss. I can't wait to show you guys this next game, it's so absurd. Handcuff from Jeff Ramos. You play as Mike McWrist, yeah. And as you can see, you play as Handcuff, wielding a normal-sized gun just as big as you, a hand. And you go around cleaning up the streets against thugs. Obviously, since you're only as big as a hand, your enemies are full-sized. So it kind of gives you a brand new twist on the third-person genre. If you line up headshots perfectly, you can take out enemies with one shot, but on the other hand, you can only take one hit as well. There's also a really generous slow down time mechanic, which sometimes can give you a super hot feeling. The game is still only a prototype, but the gameplay and concept are already showing so much promise. Pick up the demo now on itch.io. Before we jump into the top 3, I want to give you guys my honorable mentions. Some of these games were just so funny or just so cute, I had to mention them. A Butterfly's Dream, Nyanru, the Super Cat, Tombed Turtle, Knights of the Deep, Toll Room, Candidatos, Ohio John, Get Out, Punhos de Rupedio. In third place, Elves Clan, Tricky Seasons from Elf Clans Collective. I don't want to say anything yet, just watch. So, probably not what you thought the game was, huh? Elf Clan's motto is, rage is your worst enemy. The game will test your patience and resilience. You can't trust anything in this game, I'm telling you. There's trickster coins, hidden spikes, camouflaged enemy trees. I swear, even when you think you've outsmarted the level, it will betray you. The very first level is highly reminiscent of Super Mario Bros. 1-1. It feels so familiar and safe at first until the level just starts betraying you. The game feels ready to blow up at any time now on Twitch. It's a perfect mix of hilarious and rage-inducing. The contrast of the extremely charming visuals and the devilish challenge makes it so unique. Give it a download, it's on itch.io, Android, and iOS. In second place, arguably our most well-known game on the list, Dandara from Long Hat House. This gorgeous pixel art Metroidvania has an obvious hook that you can notice right away. Gravity isn't much of a factor in the world of Salt. You play as the titular Dandara, named after the historical heroine in Brazil of the same name, and your movement is locked by launching yourself from surface to surface. You're also equipped with your blaster, meaning enemies and environmental challenges will struggle against your arsenal. Dandara is built for a number of inputs too. You can play either mouse and keyboard, controller, or even touch controls for Nintendo Switch or mobile versions. And finally, my favorite game from Brazil, the extremely stylized Keylocker from Munana. As with many games already, Keylocker is an absolute genre blender. It's a JRPG with turn-based rhythm combat. You play as Bobo in a cyberpunk world where the oppressive government has banned music. You rebel against the government using your voice, and you create a band with the party that you grow over time, so that you can bring back melodies to the cold and cybernetic world. And speaking of cyborgs, you'll have to befriend or betray people that you meet along the way, and there's even a full-fledged dating system. Mechanically, the game pulls a lot of inspirations from Chrono Trigger and the Game Boy Advance era of the Mario and Luigi RPG games. But Keylocker really stands out with their color palettes and this synth-pop metal soundtrack. They successfully created a Kickstarter campaign late last year, and the game is now full steam ahead in development. But you can pick up the demo now on Steam to really understand how exceptional the game is. And so those were my favorite games from Brazil. I was so surprised by the amount of experimental, genre-blending games that I found. But I shouldn't be surprised, that's the perfect representation of Brazil. Let me know which game was your favorite, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch the next episodes. Oh, and I almost forgot, let me know if you want part 2 for Brazil. Believe me, I have so much more to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the games. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.